So here we are once again, back at it again with another Dragon Ball Sparking Zero Neo video. You thought I was done talking about this game. You thought I forgot about one of the biggest DLC drops of all time that's going to be dropping for a Dragon Ball game? Get the fuck out of here, man. I think Bandai forgot. Okay, let's be real. Bandai definitely forgot. I'm just joking. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's be real. All right, predictions. This is going to be my 37th prediction video going over when this damn DLC is actually releasing, right? Every video that I've posted in the past 3 months, okay? Especially this month, specifically, okay? Every Xenoverse 2 and Xenoverse 3 video that I've made, I've gotten multiple comments on every single one of those asking me, where the fuck is the Sparking Zero Neo DLC? As if I know. Dude, I don't know. You guys don't know, only Bandai knows, okay? So they said summer. It's currently July 14th. At the time I am recording this video, today is July 14th. We are almost midway through this month. We have the official confirmation and release now of Xenoverse 2's final DLC for Future Saga Chapter 4, okay? That was released, I believe, on July 8th, right? So I think, okay, and you don't have to believe me. You do not have to take this seriously. You can take it with a grain of salt. This is just my personal prediction, my thoughts on when I think it's going to drop. I'm a fan just like you guys. I have no, knowledge on when this is actually releasing, right? But I think first week of August, okay? Early August. Like I said, I'm going to even go, a step further. I'm going to say the first week of August, I think, is whenever this will actually just completely just drop, and then we can buy it and we can play it, right? The reason I say that, okay, is because now that we know that Xenoverse 2 has already released its DLC in the first week of July, it's usually, and this doesn't always happen, but Bandai usually tends to release DLC about minimum, okay, a month apart from each other, right? They try, and again, this is not all the time, but they tend to not want to release DLC, especially for the Dragon Ball games, too close together, okay? And I think that's a good, strategy. I think that's a good idea, okay? If you release too much stuff at one time, it becomes overwhelming and not everybody can keep up with it. But if you release it, sometime after people have digested and played the other content, right? I think that would make more sense, because then it's like, okay, well, I already beat this. I already played everything. I'm hungry for more content on something, right? And most people who play Xenoverse 2 are playing Sparking Zero, vice versa, right? So, yeah, I think it would make sense. It would be reasonable to release it 1 month apart. They did the same thing with the Daima DLC Part 2, right? That released, I want to say, was it late September? It was like the last week of September or some shit, right? So they, not exactly, but about a little over a month later, they dropped Future Saga Chapter 3, which was, the DLC right before this last one, right? And that was at the end of October, okay? So that's generally how they do things, and that would make the most sense to me. We are still due for a few characters that have not gotten revealed, okay, at minimum, right? There could be way more that they haven't even shown yet, right? I think this is around 20, is that 27, 28 characters? I can't remember the number at this point, dude. It's been so long since this trailer. Keep in mind, the last time we got information on this DLC, an actual just information in general, right? The trailer was at Battle Hour at the very end of April. So that was 3 months ago, right? And I just want to say this. I am totally fine. I am totally patient, right? I can be 100% patient and fine with them taking as long as possible, as long as they need to release this DLC. Because I do not want them to rush this shit out and there's something fucked up with it, or they release a patch on this game that breaks something because they did not take the time to make sure that everything was clear and good, right? Because it's Bandai, is, Sparking Zero, and they do shit like that all the time, right? So the last, actual patch and update we got, I think was that also April? I think it was. It was the, day or two after Battle Hour, right? And we got, was it Survival Mode or something like that? I don't even remember at this point, dude. And I can't remember if that was even really a huge patch. But, yeah, it's likely that the reason why this is taking so long, I can just tell you right now, all this DLC, the characters, the stages, all that shit, whatever that they showed you guys at April, during April, everything's pretty much done, right? The only thing I think they need time to do is patch the game, like work on the patch, right? The patch notes and, you know, whatever they're patching, if it's going to be attacks for characters, gameplay mechanics. There's going to be a lot of changes when this game drops, right? There's going to be an update to the actual overall like gameplay and like certain mechanics, right? With like the new like sparking boost or whatever the fuck that they're doing. I don't even know at this point, right? So all that we have to take in consideration as well. That's why a lot of these patches take forever and these DLC, you know, releases take forever, is because even though they have the content basically ready, right? There's always going to be that big update that happens at the same time for the actual like gameplay and everything as well, right? And because this is such a big DLC, yeah, it's to be expected, right? So there was a thing floating around I saw about a week ago, I think, from Neo Otaku. They said Sparking Zero was added to a hidden unnamed package on SteamDB on July 3rd. Seems the release of Neo DLC is imminent, right? Now, yeah, this could be related to the Neo DLC. This might not even be related to it at all, right? SteamDB isn't always the best indicator of when content is actually dropping. You know, there's always going to be updates and things and changes to SteamDB's page and like, you know, the packages and all that stuff, right? That doesn't always mean anything, but it's a good sign, right? It just shows that they're doing something with the game right now, right? But again, I wouldn't take this, you know, too seriously, okay? At the very end of the Xenoverse 2 trailer, they did a thing that I wasn't really expecting them to do, was show a next time on Dragon Ball video games type shit, right? They showed this right here. This is at the very end of the trailer. It shows Dragon Ball games release schedule, okay? So they show all the major Dragon Ball games, at least console games, right, that they're trying to promote right now, okay? Fighters got their Diamond DLC pack. Okay, that was, I believe that was also in April, right? It was either April or like early May or something like that. I can't remember. I think it was April, right? It's been a while, okay? We didn't have anything in June and nothing in May, I don't think, when it came to Dragon Ball video game, like console game content, right? I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to do things for the other Bandai games. Like I think My Hero Academia All Justice released their Nana Shimura. She dropped, I believe, early May, right? And then obviously Dragon Ball Legends is Bandai, right? And they had their, I mean, the anniversary is still ongoing right now, and that started at the very end of May, okay? So that makes sense too. I wouldn't, you know, that doesn't always play into, you know, how they're releasing things, but I think that was kind of like the focus, right? So now that we know, like I said, that Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 was going to be the game that released their DLC first, because that was the thing that was like, you know, confusing me, and it was like throwing me off, is like, which one of these is releasing first? They both say summer, right? They both said that they're going to be releasing summer, and that's all we had to go off of for the longest time. So it's like, who's going to be dropping their DLC first? Is it going to be Sparking Zero, or is it going to be Xenoverse 2? And Xenoverse 2 was the one to do it, okay? Early July, right? So it's only been out for like a week now, right? So Sparking Zero, they confirm it's next, okay? Because what they show on the teaser is it enlarges and it shows this, okay? Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, super limit breaking news available in summer 2026, okay? So when they actually showed this in the trailer, I was like, oh shit, this is actually dropping like way sooner than I thought, right? And yeah, I think it could always have potential to drop next week. It could drop the week after, or it could drop in August, okay? Now, again, like I said, the reason why I personally don't think it's going to be dropping, you know, in this month is just because it's too close to Xenoverse 2's DLC release. And again, like I said, they tend to not want to release content on these big console games too close together, okay? And not only that, Xenoverse 3 is kind of in its, like, big promotion phase right now as well. So it looks like they're trying to push for Xenoverse 3 a lot right now, okay? I think what they were trying to do, and Bandai, you know, they can be dumb about shit, but they're also like, they know what they're doing, right? So as soon as Xenoverse 2 released this new DLC, not even a full 24 hours later, they announced a stream for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're going to actually show some gameplay. Like, it was like over an hour, I think, worth of gameplay that they showed. And then, oh, well, don't forget, the Road Tour is starting as well at DreamCon. And they had, you know, more gameplay was coming out. Like, there's been a lot of Xenoverse 3, you know, currently right now, okay? So I think that's why they're really trying to focus on that, because they were waiting, like they literally waited until right when Xenoverse 2 basically releases DLC and ended, and they were like, here, damn, and then boom, Xenoverse 3 time. That's right, bitches. So that doesn't mean that they forgot about Sparking Zero or that they don't give a shit about Sparking Zero. It's just because Xenoverse 3 is their big upcoming game, right? And Sparking Zero is still a really important big game, and that's why they're obviously still trying to continue DLC for it. But because it's going to just be a DLC drop and not an actual whole ass video game drop, that's why they're probably not promoting it as much, okay? Which is absolutely unfortunate, because this is such a, you know, like I said, it's huge, and it's a major release, okay? This is not, you know, what we had last year. This isn't little DLC packs releasing throughout the year that are kind of mid, okay? Not that they were bad or anything, but they were just characters. No, this is a whole season's pass worth of content releasing at one time, with the addition of new techniques, new outfits, stages, game modes, gameplay mechanic changes. Like, this might as well be like as close to a sequel to this game as we're ever gonna get, okay? At least anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we have to, you know, let them cook and make sure that this is best possible quality, make sure the patch is good. They gotta work out all the bullshit, right? So once that happens, they'll, you know, be ready to drop this. And like I said, they're dropping this when they're dropping it, okay? So this might be the last video that I make and going over the predictions. Now that, again, like I said, I was just kind of waiting to see like which one was gonna come out first. It was gonna be Xenoverse or Sparking. So now we know that, that's a possibility. Again, it could release next week, it could release the week after. They don't have to stick to the, oh, it has to release every month. Like, they don't have to do that. I'm just going based off of that because that's just a better way of doing things. But obviously, you know, most people don't give a fuck. They just want to play this as soon as possible, right? They, you know, there are some people who don't even play Xenoverse 2, and they're just been sitting here like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I want content for the game that I want to play. You know what I mean? So I get it. I understand. But I'm just saying, it'll happen when it happens. I just wanted to talk about this because there were little developments going on. And, you know, I gotta talk to my Sparking Zero people, right? Like I said, not everybody that plays Sparking Zero also plays Xenoverse 2, so don't worry, okay? I got y'all. It's a pointless ass video. Again, I just like to yap. I wanted to talk about it, man. I'm excited for this shit as much as you guys are.
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet!